Hello once again. Today we are going to discuss about the kinetic particle theory. As you can see on the board, we are going to start with the introduction, kinetic particle theory, and then we will discuss what actually kinetic particle theory is, discuss its uses, and then explanation. So starting from the introduction, as the name shows, kinetic word means motion. Particle stands or represents molecules. As in chemistry, we always talk about the molecules and we consider particles as molecules. So the theory that explains that matter is made up of tiny particles called molecules that are in the random state of motion is called kinetic particle theory. Kinetic particle theory helps us to explain the states of matter, the difference in the properties of states of matter like solid, liquid and gases, and the interchange of these states of matter. In the previous topic, in the previous lecture, I have already explained the states of matter and the difference in the properties of solid, liquid and gases. Today, I am not going to touch these 2 points. I will only discuss the interchange of states of matter, like how these 3 states of matter, solid, liquid and gas, can be interchanged into each other. So how these states interchange into each other? That is on the difference in the temperature when we apply heat or when we take out heat from that substance. Interchanging these states of matter, solid into liquid, liquid into gas and gas into solid, that depends completely on how can we do that is on the basis of the temperature change. As you can see on the diagram, solids can be easily changed into liquids and vice versa. Liquids can be changed into gas, vice versa, and gases can be changed into solids, vice versa. How this happens? Whenever we are heating the solids, they can be converted into liquids. That process is called as melting. For example, if you are taking out ice from the refrigerator and put it into a room, then what happens? That ice starts absorbing heat from the room and becoming liquid. So that process is called as melting. The reverse is called as freezing. When we are putting water, a cup of water, into the refrigerator, what happens? Refrigerator is taking out heat from the water and converting it into solid ice. So liquids can be changed into solids by changing the temperature, and the process is called as freezing. How can we change the liquid into gas? Again, the answer is by heating. If that process occurs at its boiling point, then it is called as boiling, and if it occurs below its boiling point, that process of converting the liquid into gas is called as evaporation. Like during the cloud formation, the water from the earth's surface evaporates, converted into gas. That gas is actually the clouds. So those clouds when get saturated and at the lower temperature, they start condensing back into liquid, and then we observe rain. So gases can convert back into liquid, and the process is called as condensation. Talking about the solid into gases and gases into solid is when we are heating some solids, then they are not converting directly into liquid, or they don't first convert into liquid and then convert into gas. They can directly convert into gas. So the conversion of the solid directly into gas is called as sublimation, and the reverse process is called as deposition or solidification. This is how, by changing the temperature or heat, the solids, liquids and gases can interchange into each other. Now, how can we explain this interchange in terms of kinetic particle theory? As the question comes, what happens to the particles in terms of their energy and movement during the state change? We have to explain it in terms of kinetic particle theory, or how kinetic particle theory helps us to explain the interchange of these 3 states of matter. First of all, you need to understand, as in my previous lecture, I have already discussed the arrangement of particles in the solid, liquid and gases. That in the solid, the particles are compactly packed, they are tightly packed, there are no spaces between them, they cannot move freely, they just vibrate about their mean position. In the liquid, there are some distance between the particles, there are weak attractive forces and they can move randomly. But in the gas, the particles are very far from each other, the zero attractive forces, and they can move to and fro. They collide with each other and the walls are contained. So actually what happens when the solids are heated? When the solids are heated, the heat energy is absorbed by the particles of the solid, and that heat energy is converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy will help the particles to vibrate more frequently with more excitement. Once the kinetic energy becomes maximum, so these attractive forces which is holding these solid particles together will break and allow these particles to move freely. So this is how solid converts into liquid. The same we can explain for the conversion of liquid into gas in terms of the energy and movement. When liquid are heated, the heat energy converts into kinetic energy, which makes the particle more energetic, and they collide with more force and break the weaker attractive forces existing between them and can convert into gas. Same we can explain conversion of solid into gas, that when heat is absorbed, these particles of the solid will gain kinetic energy. Kinetic energy becomes maximum and will break the attractive forces between them and can convert into gas. Now this is the explanation of what happens when solid absorbs heat, liquid absorbs heat, or to convert into liquid, and solid absorbs heat to convert into gas. How can we explain the reverse process, like conversion of the gas into liquid or liquid into solid? In terms of the energy and movement, the gas particles, when we cool them, they lose the heat, so the kinetic energy decreases and they tend to move slowly. The movement decreases, so energy decreases, movement decreases and tend to come closer, and attractive forces start developing, so the gas is changed into liquid. Same explanation we can give for the conversion of the liquid into solid, that when we cool down the liquids, the particles will lose their kinetic energy, the movement will slow down, they come closer, and strong attractive forces will develop between them and they will convert into solid. Let's review today's topic. Today we discuss kinetic particle theory, what kinetic particle theory is, how it helps us to explain the interchange of the states of matter. And we found out how kinetic particle theory explains us the conversion of solid into liquid and liquid into gas and gas into solid and vice versa in terms of the energy change and the movement of the particles. Hope this lecture is helpful to you. If you have any queries, please write in the comment section, like and subscribe my channel, and I'll see you next time. Please suggest the topic which you want to study in the next lecture, and I will try that I can arrange that topic for you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.